Bob called the shots. Bob was kind of good-natured and would let all these people come by and jam, like Clapton and Dave Mason from Traffic. He goes on and on about Bob Dylan.
Well, if 6 turns out to be 9.
Actually put the Desire band together for him.
I put the concept together and the band, right? And
I said, no place special. She said, you look different. I said, well, I guess. She said, you've been gone. I said, that's only natural. She said, you're gonna stay. I said, if you want me to.
Bob's whole trip is to like take a Polaroid, you know, an instant snapshot.
I said, no mystical time. What drives me to you is what drives me insane. I still can remember the way that you smile on the 5th day of May in the days of rain. Thank you. We'll see you in 15 minutes.
And meanwhile, he's having to do these multiple takes, showing the tunes to these multiple people and these shifting casts of musicians, and it was just insane. And I was just watched this train wreck going on for a whole night, silently in the corner, until Bob comes up to me personally and says, "What would you do, man?" We did about 80% of the album in one night.
Wow.
Bob's whole trip is to like take a Polaroid, you know, an instant snapshot of the situation, get it, freeze it, and make a perfect take.
Summer 1975, a rumor came around that the inspired Dylan was back, gathering all of his forces.
I want to tell you something.
The idea was to put a tour up. We should be playing 20,000 seaters. But instead, he wanted all these small venues.
We're really running short of time. Want to introduce Bob Dylan.
Boy, sure hope to get to Boston on time.
Where you been?
The tour was a catastrophe.
Where you been?
It wasn't a success. Not if you measure success in terms of profit.
The nation was so divided. So they embarked on a journey through America.
Life is about creating yourself.
His group, his live group, had quit.
Is that right? Okay.
The band.
The band, right.
The band. They did this big reunion tour
Right,
with,
right.
the stadium tour under Bill Graham's
One
tutelage.
of the first big stadium tours.
Exactly. And they had gone off on their own. They didn't want to work with him anymore. And we did about 80% of the album in one night.
Wow.
Let Daddy drive, little darling. For the times they are changing.
He was one of them.
He was our idol.
Bob was our hero.
Not an idol, but we just heard his record. As I said, we listened to his album and it really gave us a buzz, and we played it constantly over and over and over again.
I mean, I heard of Bob through John. He'd played the records to me, and it was just great.
I think it was freewheeling.
We love Bob Dylan.
I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's hard, 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 rains are gonna fall.
So when we met him, yeah, well, you know, by that time we'd heard much more of him and we knew much more about him.
It was a great honour to meet him. We had a crazy party the night we met. I went around, I thought I got the meaning to life that night. And I went around trying to find our roadie. Mal, get a pencil and a paper. I've got it. And Mal, because we were a bit out of it, he couldn't find a pencil and paper anywhere. But eventually, in the end of the evening, he found it, and I wrote down my message for the universe, you know. I said, now keep that in your pocket. And Mal did. The next morning, he said, hey, Paul, he said, do you want to see that? I said, what? He said, that bit of paper. Oh, yeah. And I'd written, there are 7 levels.
Well, there was 2 men in the room, and Bob's the well-known one.
Al Aronowitz was there, he was a journalist, who was like a mate.
That was the first time for me that I'd really smoked marijuana. And I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. It was fabulous.
Let Daddy drive, little darling. Just relax and close your eyes, 'cause we've got time. such a long ride, but not so far. With you by my side, let Daddy drive. You know I'll take my own sweet time. I'll be right, little darling, and get you home before midnight. Take my own sweet time. I'll be right, little darling, and get you home before midnight. Let Daddy drive. Let Daddy drive. I know just what I'm talking about.
I want to tell you something.
Boy, sure hope we get to Boston on time.
Where you been?
The tour was a catastrophe.
Where you been?
It wasn't a success. Not if you measure success in